When country music superstar Blake Shelton agreed to appear on The View, few anticipated anything more than lighthearted banter, a few laughs, and maybe a guitar anecdote or two. After all, Blake had built his reputation on good all-boy charm, quick wit, and an uncanny ability to navigate interviews with effortless likability. But the producers of The View had something different in mind that morning, and so did Joy Behar. As the show opened, the energy was upbeat. Blake entered with his signature grin, waving at the audience as the ladies welcomed him warmly. Yet beneath the smiles was an undercurrent of political tension that no one watching could ignore. What began as a friendly appearance quickly devolved into a fierce, unexpected confrontation between Blake and Joy that left the audience shocked. The co-hosts scrambling and the internet on fire within hours. Initially, everything went as expected. Blake joked about life on The Voice, talked about his recent tour, and even cracked a few self-deprecating lines about being married to Gwen Stefani. The audience laughed, and so did the co-hosts until Joy pivoted. "You've got a big platform, Blake," she said with a knowing smirk. "Ever think about using it to speak up about what's going on in the country?" Blake's smile froze. "Momentarily," well, he said, keeping his voice even. "I speak up the best way I know how, through music." Joy leaned in. "But don't you think staying silent is part of the problem? Especially with what's happening in places like Texas and Oklahoma." Blake's posture shifted slightly. "Now hang on, Joy. Just because I don't shout on social media doesn't mean I'm not paying attention." It was the beginning of a sharp turn, and the tone in the room changed. Joy pressed further, refusing to let go. "But country artists have influence. Don't you think you should be standing up for things like reproductive rights, gun control, voting access?" Blake's eyebrows lifted. "I don't think telling people how to think makes you a leader. I think listening to people makes you one." The audience applauded, but Joy wasn't done. "So you're okay staying neutral while people's rights are under attack?" Blake's tone darkened. "I didn't say that, but you don't know. What I do behind the scenes, just because I don't scream on Twitter, doesn't mean I don't care." Joy rolled her eyes. "That's a convenient excuse. Silence is complicity." Blake leaned forward, shaming people for not saying. "What you want to hear isn't activism, it's bullying." The audience gasped. Whoopi murmured Joy's name as a caution, but the damage was beginning to show. Joy raised her voice. "I've been doing this a long time, Blake. I know when someone's dodging." Blake shot back, "I've been singing to millions for 2 decades, Joy. I don't need a lecture from someone who thinks yelling louder makes you more right." Sunny Hassan tried to step in. "Let's keep the conversation respectful," she said gently. But it was clear the situation had slipped out of anyone's control. Joy responded, "I'm not yelling. I'm holding someone accountable who has a massive platform and nothing to say." Blake crossed his arms, visibly agitated. "What I have to say doesn't fit neatly into your little political boxes. I love this country. I respect people's rights. But I'm not going to be forced into a soundbite for your agenda." The room fell into an awkward silence. The audience didn't know whether to clap or cringe. Then things escalated further. Joy turned to the audience. "You hear that, folks? Is what privilege sounds like?" Blake stood up. "You know what? Joy, I came here to talk about music, maybe share some laughs." "But you clearly invited me on to ambush me," Joy retorted. "No one's ambushing you. You're just being challenged for once," Blake replied sharply. "No, I'm being cornered by someone who's more interested in headlines than honesty." Whoopi tried again to diffuse the moment. "Let's not do this," she said, reaching a hand out. But Blake was already pushing back his chair. "Nah, I'm good. I don't need this." The camera quickly cut to a wide shot. You could see crew members in the background looking panicked. Stage manager moved toward the edge of the set. The atmosphere was thick with disbelief. Blake looked directly at Joy and said, "You can twist my words all you want, but I'm not here to play this game." Joy responded, "Then maybe you should stay off shows that expect answers, not just charm." Blake didn't wait. He removed his mic, muttered something under his breath that viewers couldn't quite catch, and walked off stage. Some audience members clapped in support, Others sat in stunned silence. The broadcast cut to commercial almost immediately. When the show returned, Joy tried to act unfazed, saying, "Well, I guess Blake had somewhere to be." Awkwardness on set was undeniable. Even the usually unflappable Whoopi looked uncomfortable. The rest of the panel tried to steer the conversation to safer ground, but the moment had already eclipsed the entire show. Asterisk, within minutes, social media exploded. Clips of the confrontation went viral, with hashtag Blake vs Joy, hashtag Shelton storms off, and hashtag The View Goes Wild, all trending on Twitter. Fans of Blake defended his stance, saying he was ambushed by a political agenda. Critics accused him of being evasive and cowardly. Memes flooded Instagram and TikTok. On conservative news outlets, the incident was framed as another example of liberal Hollywood bullying. Liberal commentators, on the other hand, argued that Blake had failed to rise to the moment and show real moral leadership. Meanwhile, The View's official account posted nothing about the incident. Their silence only fueled more speculation. Was the argument planned? Was Blake set up? Or did he genuinely snap under pressure? Asterisk, the next day, Blake's team issued a brief statement. Mr. Shelton appeared on The View to discuss his music and upcoming tour. Fortunately, the tone of the interview was inconsistent with what had been agreed upon. The View responded with a short segment where Joy explained her side. "I asked questions that matter. If someone gets uncomfortable talking about real issues, that's not my fault." The tension didn't go away. In fact, it only intensified. Podcast hosts debated the ethics of daytime TV confrontations. Political analysts used the moment to discuss celebrity responsibility. Even other musicians weighed in, some siding with Blake, others siding with Joy. What was supposed to be a harmless segment turned into a national moment of cultural reckoning. Asterisk, Blake stayed quiet for a few days. Then he appeared in a TikTok video performing a heartfelt acoustic version of a song about division and misunderstanding in America. The comments were flooded with support. "You handled that with class," one user wrote. "Joy should apologize," said another. But the controversy wouldn't disappear so easily. Joy, too, became the center of debate. While some hailed her as brave, others said she crossed a line. The incident reignited old arguments about The View's format. Is it a platform for productive dialogue or a minefield for public figures? Most importantly, can any guest truly walk into that arena without being forced into a political narrative? Asterisk, in the end, Blake's departure from The View became more than a headline. It became a symbol. A moment when two very different versions of American identity clashed on live television.
Ow.
Blake represented the silent majority of those who may not speak loudly, but believe deeply. Joy embodied the outspoken progressivism that demands clarity, accountability, and vocal advocacy. Neither backed down, both left bruised. But the moment, raw and unfiltered, echoed far beyond that studio. It was about country and city, tradition and change, quiet strength and vocal outrage. It was messy, unscripted, and very real. And in a world addicted to scripted drama, this unscripted moment reminded everyone just how powerful authenticity and confrontation can be.